Hello, hello. Here we are. Glad you all can join us today. Just going to hang out for a few more seconds to see if anybody joins us. Let's see here. Play. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so I want to actually start in rain first. So whenever you have, because of the recent changes that we have, remember that we have to be getting, we have to have either a showing disclosure form or a buyer broker signed for all of the clients in our MLS. So the I'm sorry, I'm going back and forth. I had thrown this part in and I'm going to pause the recording because I am going to show real people's information. Okay. So, looking at different opportunities for how to reach out to people. There's a ton of different options within Bold Trail. So we're going to pretend like we're going to Bold Trail. We've just signed in, and you want to find where to get a smart campaign or drip email campaign. Okay, so you can come down marketing and then smart campaigns, but they have changed this. I mean, it's right here. But if you don't want to try and remember that, look at this handy dandy search and just type in the word smart campaign. So here it is right here, and it will take you straight there. Okay. Another way, if you call it drip emails, let's see, I tried drip. Yeah, if you type in the word drip, it also still finds it. Okay, so either way you can type in into the search bar. That's probably going to be the easiest way. Okay, so once you are in this section here, you can see all the different things that are available to you. So 1 through 44, that's how many I have that I have in my library here. All of us should have these smart campaigns readily available to us. If you don't have all of these turned on, or if you want to play with it, then that's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to come over to System Library and look at different ones that exist. So maybe I want to find something that says renter. So I'm going to type in renter. And here are 5 different renter campaigns that are in the KV Core / Bold Trail system already for you. And you can kind of read a little bit about each of them. So starts when. When is this active is the status is active. There's a status client, status contract, status prospect, and status sphere of influence. So there's a few different triggers. These are different triggers that exist that you could set up. So even though it kind of looks like maybe they're all about the same, you can see the triggers are different. And if you read the campaign description, this one says client, contract, prospect, sphere, active. So maybe you know a renter friend of yours who you're kind of talking to about starting a home search. They're a friend of yours and you want to try and see if that would be something they can consider. Maybe we try this one. So let's click into it and see what it says. So this one, see here immediately. So it means that as soon as the trigger occurs, it's going to go ahead and send this email. And the name is I was surprised, and it's from the agent to the contact. So let's view what that says. And we're going to learn how to build these out using that same logic. Okay. We're going to get an idea of what these look like, and then we're going to go from there. Okay. So this one says, hey, blank. You may be surprised to hear that renting is more often more expensive than owning. Have you thought about looking to buy? Give me a call to discuss. And then it has your information. P.S. I have a market report that I send out monthly. I'll plan to include you so you can keep an eye track on that. So that is, this is something that you could set up for, your friends. You could make it a little more personal. Maybe I want to edit this. We'll get into that, okay? So I'm going to close that one out and let's go to day 35. So now it's been 35 days and from the last contact, and it's going to have a text message. Now it's not going to text this out for you. You will, well, it can text it out if you've got that set up, which again, you should, but so this would set this up for you. I was starting to say it wouldn't, but that was a former CRM of ours. So it texts out for you. And this is really cool because you should have, if you haven't before, set it up so that the responses come back to you named, because otherwise it can kind of get a little confusing. So I set it up for well, at the time KB Core, and it comes in and it texts me something, and it's all in one thread, but it says who the contact was that just texted you back. So this is a really cool thing that you can have as well. The phone call is obviously what I can't do for you, so we'll get there. This one here says, hey there, did you get my monthly market report? Was it helpful? This is really good because it's very short, concise. I really like this one because it's asking for a response. And then this one here for the call. So the call you will have to actually manually do, of course. But it's a reminder and it will come up in your task to remind you to call for that day. So I really like this. Maybe it's not perfect. Maybe I want to change something a little bit from here. We can take this as a template and alter it a little bit. So I'm going to show you some other one, all systems. So I kind of got to this place because I like some of the newsletter functions that they have. But I found that they were maybe not as relevant. I think that there was, so some of the feedback that I had received when I first got Bold Trail, I put everybody in my sphere on the default, let's find it, sphere. Core sphere homeowner. Okay, so this is someone that I've already helped. I've already done something for them. You know, I've gotten them into the home. They've moved somewhere else, something, whatever. They own a home and they're someone in my sphere. This is what I set everyone up on, okay? And I really did like it, but I got some interesting feedback. The feedback was that some of them were not, like there was one that went out that was for a renter. And I don't remember exactly which month it was, but there was one where there was kind of like, honestly, like a little bit of a mistake in it. And so someone messaged and they were like, hey, you just sent me an email about rentals or something like that. And I was like, oh, and it's fine. It's whatever. But what I could do is take this general idea and turn them into newsletters. So you can see that unlike the last one that we looked at, this one has it set up for a certain time. So this one is going to be sent out on 8/10/2023. So there are different ways that you could do this. So what does all this mean? Because I've just said a lot of different things to you. I've shown you a few different options of plans that already exist. So how can we make it fun? How can we make it ours? Well, what if I were to take this and copy and paste it and turn it into a pretty design? And instead of maybe that guy doing a caulking job, what if it was me? What if it was a picture of me? And I'm like doing something around the home. And I use the same language, but it's a picture of me. This is super easy to replicate. So let's first come over to my design. Going to go to home. Oop, come on. And for that length, if I'm trying to create something similar, that's a pretty long one. Maybe let's think maybe like Instagram story length. And I might read through that and decide that I don't want to have every single bit of it. But let's do create design. And so I'm going to look for something, let's do Instagram story. Another thing that would be that long that Canva has is infographic. That might be a good option to look for as well. And you can see the dimensions here. Maybe this makes sense to you. Maybe it doesn't. It's okay if it doesn't. So let's click this. And you can see it's got it pretty long. I'm going to stick with this instead of looking for the infographic. Just because I think that this is going to be the right size for me. And then let's look for designs. So we're going to type in real estate. Let's see if we can see a story for that. Okay, those are nice. This one might work where it's got, you know, the top portion here if I'm trying to like fully replicate that. Maybe I do put an infographic into this and see. I don't know why I can't type today. Info, oh my gosh, guys. I did only have 1 cup of coffee today. That's not true. I cannot think today. I had 1 cup of coffee. My dog came over to me while I was making my coffee, and I'm pretty sure I grossly miscalculated how many mounds of coffee I had put in because it was the weakest coffee I've ever had. I ended up dumping out my 2nd cup. So I'm going to give myself a little grace here today. All right. So infographic didn't give me a style. Let's try information. Okay, yeah, I'm liking this a little bit more. Let's find one. Oh, my crown, I don't have access to that in this one. Come on. No, I'm trying to scroll. Touch screen. Okay, this one's kind of fun. Let's do this one. Okay. So I want this. This is going to be a picture of me. I'm going to be holding a hammer. We're going to pretend. All right. So I don't have a picture of me holding a hammer. How can I do that? Well, I could go to uploads. I could take a picture on my phone real quick of myself holding a hammer. Or you can do this, record yourself, and you can take a quick picture. So either way, if I wanted to, let's see, change the shape. Where's the change shape option? Okay. We'll come back to that for the record video one. Canva's done a re-release and I'm not finding all of their buttons exactly where they used to be because you can usually change the shape from being circle to square. So I'm just going to take a picture. We're going to pretend I took a picture of me holding a hammer and that's it. Okay. So you can either take and drag your picture, or if you want it to be in a certain shape or something like that, you're going to come over to elements and you're going to come to frame. And then see all, and you can find whatever shape you want for your picture. It doesn't have to look exactly like this bold trail. Just because this is the general idea doesn't mean it has to look verbatim the same. So let's do repair. That's kind of like a repair feeling. And I'm going to make that square. Cool. Delete that out. And I'm going to center this. There we go. All right, so I'm going to put a picture of me in here. And now that I have the frame, all I do is I click the picture that I want and I drag it. And you can see it comes in. Ooh, that one's a fun frame. I didn't realize it was going to do that. That could be a really fun one to play with. So it's actually 2 different pictures. Do you like my Vogue picture of my dog here? All right, so maybe you're repairing 2 different things. And let's do that. Let's come over to elements. Let's come back out of that. We're going to go to photos and we're going to do home repair. All right, so a lot of these are showing as being limited to Canva's Pro account. So I'm going to keep scrolling until I find one that does not have a crown. All of those do still. So I may loosen up the search criteria a little bit. And I will also acknowledge that after every update that Canva does, they put more and more behind that paid wall. So let's just do hammer. There's a hammer. Here we go. Look at that. All right. Is this perfect? No, obviously you're going to put way more effort into the pictures that you're doing. But we're just showing how to do the stuff. So for the rest of this, I don't want this information here. I'm going to pull this out. And take this away. And I'm going to get rid of that actually. Oops, that was background. Let's get rid of this and this. And we're going to pull this guy down. So I'm going to just, oh, it's a little scallop thing. That's interesting how they made that. So it's actually a grouping of objects. That's neat. And I'm just going to scroll it down, grab this guy and bring it down. So now I've got a general template that I started with and I've edited it to my own. I'm going to come over to text and add a text box. Let's pop over here and let's read some of this. I'm going to be real with you. No one is going to read that long of an email, truly. So what I would recommend is maybe we're just going to highlight the check the gutters, look out for the roof, and maybe we only have one of these sentences per thing, because although they are your friends and families potentially, or just general sphere, and they love you because they're past clients, they're not going to read this. This is just too much. There we go. Okay, Control C. I'm going to pop back over here into this Word document or this Word box and put Control V. Okay, so you can see it's way too long. So I'm going to take out some of this here, check the gutters, look over the roof, caulk around the windows, doors, inspect the back yard. Maybe I want to split this one out to say, deadhead your, flowers. You could make it a more inclusive list. But for our intents and purposes, I'm just going to go through all of that. Okay. Now I've got a shorter list. Is there a sentence at the end? Whether you're looking, yes. So you can see here, this is kind of like the closeout statement here. Okay, so I'm going to Control C, throw that back in since I mistakenly deleted it. And there's my closing line. If you ever want to change shapes of the box, maybe I want to kind of bring it in a little bit, line it up more. You can see these guides. If you haven't watched my videos before, I go through what all of the guides mean. So I'm not going through every single step, but you can see the purple box and you can see I'm grabbing and dragging things around. So if you ever want to see exactly how you use every bit of things, then, that's in another video. So now I'm going to highlight these things here because I decided I want it to be in a list format. So if I come over here, you can see you have a bullet point option. If I wanted that, and then if I click it again, it says numbers. It's kind of formatted weird. So let's highlight it again and try again. Let's see what's going on. There we go. And let's get rid of the ones in between. So another thing I want to point out while I'm doing this is, do you see how in the previous bold trail, the field, it did actually have a field for their name. So it said, dear so-and-so. You're not going to have that with this, okay? So please don't put in that portion. So do you see right here, I skipped, oh, it doesn't have it in this one, but in the previous ones that we were looking at, it would say dear, and then it would have like first name. And right here it says agent header. Because it's not pulling that data from the system, because we're just doing a picture in essence, please don't include that whenever you're copying and pasting things over. So you're just going to have this portion here. So I've got it lined up. Maybe I want it, I think I want it like this. I've got my information in there, and I'm going to include a signature. So I am going to add another text box, and just make sure you're using all of your information, your name, postal town. Just basically take your email signature and pop it in here. That's the easiest way to do it. And then that way you're fully covered with all of your D4 requirements. So you've got your information in here. It looks fabulous, pretend. You're going to be able to download this as an image. So you would download that, and then we can basically move forward and replicate a whole year's worth of these newsletters with maybe your face in it. So another one, you know, this one here, let's look at the next one. September home maintenance tips, talking about your planting spring bulbs, doing these things. I didn't know that. So this is really good information. And I think people do actually value it. Like I said, someone made a comment about how one of them was for a renter, which means they were reading it. It doesn't mean they're just receiving it. They're actually reading it. These things do work. These smart campaigns do work, even if someone doesn't say everything. I mean, of course, the one that she's going to comment on is the one that was incorrect, but people are always reading them and liking them. It's just the nature that someone will kind of point out. She was doing it in a nice way of like, hey, by the way, you know, decorating Christmas and fall all before Thanksgiving. Here's information about that. So these are cute little things, and maybe it's a picture of you hanging up stuff onto your Christmas tree. Like, you can make it personal, and that's going to make people more inclined to continue to open these, because they're going to go, I wonder what Christy is doing next. I wonder what, you know, Deja is doing next. I wonder what Nikita is doing next. Those are really cool things, especially if you maybe have like certain segments. Maybe you have a different culture or something like that you can highlight, you know, decorating for this, or don't forget this, you know, something, make it personal to you and what's important to you. So you don't have to use every single one of those. I also have this email, and you can find this stuff online. So I have all these old email groups, one being January, and I've just saved all of this information for like a listing after the holidays. So this is an email that maybe I could set up, and it could still go out to the general people, you know, my sphere. Like, you can incorporate in, other than just tips, maybe something about going ahead and prepping your house for sale, because you never know if maybe someone in your sphere, you know, you helped them buy the house 4 years ago and now they're wanting to sell. Those are the things we're going to start seeing, especially as the rates drop. So keep, you know, make it content that people would like, and then sprinkle in kind of these requests for people to call you about maybe listing their home. So here's some useful ones there, you know. There's a ton of these different ones. I don't mind sharing these. So if you wanted to reach out to me directly, you can do that. And I'm happy to share these. You can read through, see if you like any of them. You can see there's an email for buyers, an email for sellers specifically. Maybe you do some sort of combination of the two in an email for that month. So just always know that there's resources out there. Another thing that I will mention as well is that Kragen has a whole script. He's talked about it here before. He's got a script book that he's offered to share with you guys of these quick little sound bites talking about mortgage and real estate information as it pertains mostly to the mortgage segment. And I think what's really cool is if maybe you have your sphere that is more of that like analytical side, they may be more inclined to listen to those types of videos. Or maybe you set up certain people on those kind of drips, however you want to do that. But he does have that resource available as well. So you don't have to just stick to this. Maybe you go onto NAR or onto a different website like that to find these articles or these scripts that you can put in. Another thing you could do is go to OpenAI. Tanya has taught classes on this before. And so please attend one of her classes to get more information for how to best use that. But maybe you go into OpenAI and you type in create a 3-paragraph or 2-paragraph email about why renting is better than, or sorry, why buying a home is better than renting. Highlight maintenance and this and that, like highlight, you can type in like highlight and then say the things that you specifically want to cover in that email. And then you can say, make the tone funny, make the tone professional, make the tone bossy. Like you can put it to be whatever you want, and have it create something for you and then throw that in there. You do not have to be a writer. You do not have to be William Shakespeare in here. Okay. Just don't let that get in your way. There's a lot of different things that you can use for that. So now we've seen our potential newsletter. We've seen a version of having triggers that start and have timelines based off of that. Or we've seen having some sort of monthly where you can schedule it for a specific time. So why don't we take a look at making things even that little bit more personal? What if you have a trigger that you want to start for new buyers and you're going to talk about the home buying process? You could literally take the buyer presentation, and even though you've already done it with them before, you did it, people are not going to probably retain everything. Maybe you just take a portion of that and you schedule it for every couple days during the course of a transaction. So if we assume that a transaction takes 30 days, then maybe you have it trigger for whenever you select that person is under contract on a home, and you have day one and it's like you celebrating, oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you just got under contract. This is great. Here's our next steps. Okay. So then and then you can say what is maybe in that like email or something that you send out right after a ratified contract. So for example, the email that I typically send out right after we ratify is, congratulations, this is exciting. Here's what the next 2 weeks are going to look like. And then maybe the next, 3 or so days later, you have another email that goes out with another video of you saying, hey, really glad that we've got past that earnest money deposit. Now we're going to be paying attention to these upcoming costs, and just reiterating all those things, but using these automated emails instead of having to, you're already going to be texting them, you're already going to be calling them, you're already going to be emailing them, but these additional little touches that are keeping everything on track and reiterating the information you're already covering with them. So how can we do that? Wow. If we go to a brand new Canva thing here, you can see I've been playing around with it. You can also see I made a Vogue cover of Sophie for no reason, just late at night, decided it would be funny because of the way she was laying. You can create a shareable link and then have it go through Bold Trail. So what I did to play around with this is I came over, I'm going to go to all campaigns, and I typed in sphere outreach, monthly emails to stay top of mind. This is one that I personally created. And to do that, all I had to do was do add campaign, and you set up your triggers, you set up the reasoning, the logic behind it. Okay. So first you're going to say smart campaign when. So is it when a contract is transferred? And if so, what does that look like? Is it a hashtag? Search for a hashtag. You can make your own hashtag and put under contract and tag them that way. You could do, if a lead is new and you import them in from something, whatever you want the case to be. I personally would probably do for this scenario of like when someone is under contract, I would probably do it this way and have that be another step in your ratified contract. It's like, okay, I'm going to send the email to Jones Walker and Lake and the office to say we're under contract. I'm going to have submitted all of my documents to Lucy, and I'm going to have added a hashtag to them in Bold Trail, something like that. So I have my hashtag. I would search for a hashtag that I would have already created, which you can do. Let's see if there's one already. No, because I haven't created it yet, but we're going to call it in market for now. Oops. In market, I should say that. Okay. And then, or advanced trigger. So if you wanted to do your own thing, source or form submission or something like that, whatever, however you want to log these things. Okay. I'm going to click next. Okay, next. All right, so who is this for? I'm going to say in this scenario, it's for a buyer, and I'm going to click next and then set details. And so I'm going to say buyer, buyer under contract. And month, let's say reiteration of next steps and what to expect. Okay. And then I'm going to click next and finish because it's got all the things on there that I want. So I'm going to click finish. And now if I go and look for it, buyer, I can find it based on what I said and the fact that I typed contract wrong. All right, so then I could do add action. So now I'm going to do my first one. So I'm going to say email, and I'm going to put in a template. I'm going to name this one maybe ratified contract. And my subject is going to, so this is the subject of the email that they are going to see. I'm going to call it congratulations, exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. Okay, so the text of the email here can say congratulations on your ratified contract. Now, again, we're not going to put any specific information. I'm not putting address or anything like that because this is truthfully, you could do that in here, but it would be quite a few steps because right now you can do it because you're actually in the true Bold Trail system, but you would have to then have added the address to that person, which again, you could do. Let's just say on your ratified contract, they know what house they're buying. They're excited. Okay. Here is a video message from Christy. Okay. So I'm going to now switch over to Canva and I'm going to make that video message. So maybe we're going to play with these videos here. So I found one that was going to be that dimensions that I wanted. Maybe you want yours to be more landscape than portrait, totally up to you. The way that I found this one here was I just typed in video. All right, so that I would already have like a general grouping of things. Maybe you want it to be this as your intro. And the intent of this is just a quick message, quick video you can do in the podcast room, plays out for them, super simple. So, you can search through all these different ones there. I'm going to go back to the one that I had grabbed just because we're getting a little bit later in time. So this is just one that I found on here. It runs like that. It kind of has some movement and the animation in the onset that I liked. But I'm going to change out the pictures. So I'm going to come over to Elements. And I'm going to type in house. Because this is pretty, but remember that templates are truly just a base point, right? It's just a starting point. If you have pictures that you have gotten from a photographer, not from Rain, that's another thing that we have talked at length about in Stump the Broker. So you need to be attending if that was a shocker for you to hear just now. So I'm going to put in a home. I'm going to put in this one here, and I'm just going to change out these photos for random generic real estate ones. Again, if I had pictures that I wanted to use that were my own from the photographer directly, I could do that. Let's grab this one. And let's grab this one. Why not? Oop, come on. And you can see I'm just dragging, holding until it goes into the spot that I want it to, and letting go. And actually, I don't like that one at all. Okay. So, there's this weird rain thing going on, cute, but meh, I'm gonna delete that. This bloom, even when it's tough, maybe not the vibe that I need to be going for in real estate. Maybe I change it to bloom where you're planted. That could be fun for real estate, or I could just get rid of it in general. So I'm gonna delete those out. Over here, it says, take the first step. You've got this. I actually kind of like that for our buyer scenario that we're going through right here. So I'm going to leave those. If I wanted to try and highlight them out a little bit more because they're lost in the pictures that I have, I can come over to effects, do a lift, and I can change the intensity of that if I need to. So I might just keep it at the about 50 here, and I'll do the same over here. Oops. Obviously you could do a shadow or anything like that. I just think that the lift is an easy way to make it stand out a little bit. So you can kind of see it. It's still pretty subtle. If I did want some sort of phrase in the center, I'll just come over here. They have different font combinations that are set up for you. Maybe I say, let's do this because of the message we're going to give of excited that they're under contract. Or you could set up your own. Maybe I don't like the color of this, so I could come over, change it here if I wanted to. I can also come over to design and see where it says styles. I can play with these styles, and this changes kind of the look of things. It's got different fonts and different colors. You don't have to be a graphic designer. And you don't have to pay for the pro version. You can kind of just click around until you find something that you personally like. So I'm going to come back to, I'm actually going to undo all of that. Undo. There we go. And maybe I just make it white because my OCD won't allow me to just leave it as it was. Okay. Still not perfect, obviously, but we're just going to pretend like we're happy with it. And now we're going to come over to the next page. Now, what I personally did here is I did, see where you say the ellipses right here? If you click that, you can duplicate the page, okay? So I did that because I wanted the take the first step to show up, you've got this, to show up on this page still. And maybe I changed that to you've taken this first, congrats on your first step or something like that. However you want to change that. But then I made a video. So coming back over here to uploads, you can probably recommend it. Make a video on your camera. maybe using the podcast room, and then put it up here, okay? If you wanted to do it on the Canva website, it is going to be small. So you would need to have, maybe in that scenario, you just want your face to be really small, but you want to have all the words around you as to what the next steps are, or something like that. But if you click record yourself, it brings it up in this little corner here, and then you would click record, and it records your face. Like you will pop up. It would say, if I clicked record, which I can't do because I'm already using my video for this Zoom call. But normally if I clicked record, it would then record in that little sphere. And again, I could have like words all right here or something like that. And you can move this around. You just can't resize it, which is kind of frustrating. Earlier today, when I was practicing this, it did allow me to change to a square. I think that functionality does exist. I just don't know why it's not working in this moment. But that's okay. So I'm going to click Exit Studio because I don't want to do that. So I've uploaded a document or a video on here, and I've put it into the onto the page. So all I would have done is, just like we've done with the pictures, I would have just drug it over. So you can see here, I can just drag it over. Now, if I want to actually have the whole thing play out, it goes like this. Oop. It's a little jumpy because I'm recording, but what I can do is now I can share this. And I'm not going to share it as a picture because there's some sort of play element to this, right? So what you can do is actually click this public view link. So I'm going to click this, and it gives me this public view. So I'm going to copy this here, and I'm going to come over here, and where it says here is the video message, I'm going to add a hyperlink here. So here's my URL. Here is the text, and then the title is welcome. Title is really just so that if you hover over it, it says what it's going to be. So sometimes, if you hover over something with your mouse, it'll give you an indication as to what that link goes to. So welcome or congratulations, sorry, congratulations message. And we're going to click save. Actually, let me pop back over to that. This says current window. I would probably set it up for new window, because it's going to take them out of your email. Either way, it's up to you, however you want to do that. So here is your video message. So what would that look like if they clicked the link? It comes here and it gives them the option to play. There it is. Kind of flickers, and there's that. All right. Oops. Sorry, I clicked pause on the wrong thing. So that's that. I've gone through in other videos how to change the animations of things. So please refer back to that if you ever want to know what that like how to change that. You saw it was flashing. You can see here, this one's set to neon. There's a ton of different page animations that you can do. I like using these combination ones because, again, let's just have it do it for us. Like, let's not have to be graphic designers and know exactly what's going to look perfect. Just grab one of these pre-made ones for you. I like that one. So maybe I change it to that because that's kind of fun. And I would just say apply to all pages and I'm done. Like, work smarter, not harder here, right? So now I can save this. Here's your welcome, video. I save the changes and it's going to run for my clients. So let me finish putting this in from agent to contact. And this one would be a run immediately. I don't have to set it. The rest of them, if you see here, when I send those reminder messages, you can set how long you want it to be. I would probably want to do maybe days, like 3 days, because you know that you have 2 business days to get the earnest money deposit in. So it's probably a safe bet to say maybe 3 days and say, hey, thanks so much for getting your earnest money deposit done, because you should be already trying to knock that out first thing, right? So something like that. Maybe I say I'm going to wait 2 days to why are you not accepting? 2 days to do the next task. And then I would save the change and it would set it up for, so this one would be immediately and the next one would be 2 days from then, or 3 days. So, all right, this one would be set immediately. And there you go. So that's the start of my buyer under contract campaign. If you guys have any questions, I'm going to stop there for today. Go ahead and put it in the chat or unmute yourself. Otherwise, have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks, Christy.
Thank you much.
Thank you, Christy. This was great.
Good, good. Glad it was helpful.
Thank you so much. I learned a lot today.
You're welcome. Thank you guys.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.